Let's go for a ride. You asking where we're going? I do not know. Today's plan is to act spontaneously and let life take us to places we've never been. Nah, not really. I've got something serious to talk about and I'm just thinking how to make it less awkward, and I thought, yeah, maybe I can talk about it when I'm driving, you know, like I'm just casually talking about my mental health. Okay, I do have a brief idea of where I want to go. So there's a ferry station not really close to my place, but I know where it is. And anyways, so there's this ferry station. Yeah, I think I've found the parking. It's a fair distance to the ferry still, but I'm lazy. I'm really lazy when it comes to parking. Like, I'm the type who would just park wherever, like the first spot I find, I'll park because I don't mind walking. How's my makeup? So I don't know how to talk about it in a way that's less awkward, so I thought I'll talk about this in my car, which seems like a safe private space. 4 years ago I started going to therapy, and because I was struggling with depression and suicidal thoughts, and I even used self-harm as a way of coping with that heaviness, that burden in me. And well, now I proudly say I do not have depression, and I'm very happy. I am really thriving in life. I think my mental health is probably even above average. But today's video is not another video with a BetterHelp ad, although BetterHelp, welcome sponsorship, thank you. Okay, sorry. Because the biggest lesson I learned in therapy is that 90% of the therapy work is actually done outside of therapy. So think about the therapist like a personal trainer. So they guide you, they teach you the basics, they show you the skills, and you get to practice with them. But then most of the work, most of the practice, you have to do it outside of the gym or outside of the therapy room. That's why today I want to talk about the 5 what I consider the essential mental health skills that I paid to learn through therapy, but you don't have to. Alright, are you ready? The first tool is build awareness, and there are 2 tools you can use to self-assess your mental health. One is a checklist and another one is a professional questionnaire. Why this is important is because unlike physical health, with physical health, usually, you know, we get a headache, we get a stomach ache, we get fatigue, and then we kind of know, okay, something's happening, I need to take a break, I need to go to the doctor. But with mental health, really, it's not like this. Like, for example, when I was literally like suicidal, and I thought that was perfectly fine. I was like, come on, who doesn't have suicidal thoughts? Like life is tough. It's okay to have it every now and then. And what's worse is we weren't taught the skills to understand our mind and challenge our mind. So when the voice inside my head was saying, right, like life is meaningless, I trusted instead of like interpreting this thought as, okay, wow, this is a sign that I need help. I need to make some changes. I need to take actions. I actually think, okay, this is it. Like, I need to give up. Like, I blindly trusted that voice. So that's why building awareness and learning the skill to assess your mind is super important. Okay, let's get down to the tools. Oh, sorry, just going through some muddy places. So basically, whenever I feel bad, maybe feel like not known reasons, I ask myself a set of questions to really differentiate the message from my body and the message from my mind. So I ask myself, first of all, have you been getting enough sunshine? Because I know my mood gets really impacted by the amount of sun, so the weather. Then have you been eating well? Have you been sleeping well? Are you going through hormonal changes, for example? Like, you know, like for me, if I'm If my period is approaching, I get a bit more sensitive. The next tool to build your mental health awareness is, do yourself a favor, Google DASS21 form. So this is the form that psychologists and scientists use to measure how depressed, anxious, and stressed you are. I know it's boring, it's a survey. And we're not psychologists, we're not scientists, but just simply go through the survey. Ask yourself questions like, how often do you feel life is meaningless? How often do you feel irritated often? Like, how often do you use nervous energy? It was really helpful for me, because at first, like when I was doing that survey, I was like, do you feel agitated often? I was like, because that just has become such a norm in my life. I thought that's my personality. Like, oh, you know, do you think life is meaningless? I'm like, that's my philosophy. Like that unhelpful thought literally became my life's philosophy, because I didn't investigate. I'm just going through. Okay, it's okay, Tintin. You're on the edge of a cliff. I did it! I found a flat spot, and it's definitely safe for me to sit here. So don't worry. So the next skill I want to talk about is what I call the beginner superpower, and you'll be surprised. Oh look, a leaf just fell down. And you'll be surprised that I call this a beginner, because it's emotion control. You know, like, given so many people don't know how or are not very good at it, but this is one of the first things I learned in therapy. There are actually a number of self-help ways to control your emotions, such as yoga, meditation, journaling. You know, TikTok and Netflix helps sometimes as a distraction. But today I want to focus on CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, because if all the other methods are more like a band-aid solutions, then CBT is really like the medicine, because it changes your underlying thoughts or beliefs behind the emotions. You know, you can just look up cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT on Google. There are books, there are workbooks, there are templates, and there are also examples on YouTube. So I'm not gonna go too much into that, but if you are very interested, comment below and I'm happy to do a video just on how I learn and how I use CBT, because I think everybody does it a bit differently. What CBT does is that it challenges your automatic thoughts, and by writing down your emotions and describing as objectively as possible what's happening and actually analyzing your thought, like try to rise above your own emotions. And by going through that process, you naturally land on a new and more balanced thoughts and emotions. It just feels very liberating every time I do it, although it is a hard process. I think I'm gonna catch this one. Alright, I didn't intend this to be a survival show, but it seems like, I don't know whether there's a ferry coming, and I'm pretty thirsty and really in need to find a bathroom, so that's my mission now. Wait, I found the toilet! That toilet literally looked like someone died there once. Anyways, I'm thankful. Thank you, toilet. Thank you. Alright, the next skill. Oh my god. Can't wait to talk to you about this. So the next skill is, you know, something I'm still learning and struggling, and I'll probably learn and struggle for the rest of my life, which is, you guessed it, communication. Where did this energy come from? Like, how many times you've said something that you regret afterwards, and how many times do you wish you could have battled in an argument like a bad bitch? No, I'm just kidding. Like, how many times did you wish that you could have stayed calm and have feel cool and not react? What is it called? Respond. Like, how many times do you wish that you could not react but respond during a heated conflict argument? The secret is communication. And throughout the years, there are 3 types of communication that I've came across that's literally life-changing. Yes, everything in this video is life-changing. So the first one is something I'm still learning from a government website. I know, but it's like super useful. It has these 10 modules that you go through, and it doesn't just teach you assertive communication technique, it also helps you to reshape your thinking behind your current communication style. So yeah, it changes everything. The next communication style is non-violent communication. To be honest, if you observe how people talk around us, this whole society has become very violent in terms of communication. You know, like when people feel sad or when people feel vulnerable, instead of expressing their feelings and thoughts directly using I statements, mostly people start with you statement because they start criticizing, they start judging, they start discriminating, maybe put others down so they can feel better. There's a book called Nonviolent Communication. My friend really suggested to me, but I haven't read, so it's something I'm looking to look into later, so I haven't really mastered that communication style. And the next one is something that really applies to me. It's called non-defensive communication, because I tend to get defensive when, like for example, this morning my husband was like we were in a good mood, and my husband was like, oh, did you smell that fishy smell? Like I literally woke up because the smell was so fishy, and immediately I felt attacked because I ate fish last night. And then so I was like, yeah, but I already took the beans out and I sprayed everywhere. Like, what did you do? Like, I cleaned this up and I was taking the beans out. I was doing the problem solving, and you just here to complain, blah, blah, blah. And I was defensive, and I was also violent because I attacked him. But then instead, what I could have done is just acknowledge it. Just be like, yeah, it was fishy. Yeah, I woke up smelling that too. It wasn't good. And then see how he responds. So then I'm not giving him the reaction, so the conversation would not escalate. I know, like, I am not perfect and I'm still practicing those techniques. Yeah, again, like, there are a lot of resources online. If you just Google assertive communication, non-defensive, non-violent communication, there will be resources, and I have added the links which I've been using in the description below, which you can find. The fourth essential mental health skill you need to master today, now, ASAP, is emotional first aid. I learned this the hard way, because before, whenever I have an episode of those downward spirals, I feel like I couldn't possibly pick myself up or think something otherwise. I think in a way, I almost enjoyed peeling off a scar just to see how much it hurt. And again, because we weren't taught, you're not meant to put salt on an open wound. You weren't meant to hurt yourself just to see how much further you can endure. It wasn't easy because I literally felt there was no other way until I realized it was a choice. I remember seeing this sentence somewhere: you will get as angry as you allow yourself to be. And that's when I realized. And then I remember this conversation I had with my psychologist. I asked her, like, so what am I meant to do when I feel hopeless, when I feel like I'm just going to explode, when I just think there's like nothing I can do to make me kind of feel better? And then she said something very simple. She said, you're gonna do whatever you need to do to get yourself out of that situation. The responsibility was completely on me. Especially, like, I think what helped was, I used to think, if you say for example, you have an argument with someone, I used to think that if I say, okay, let's calm down and come back to this later, I used to think this is just giving up, this is irresponsible, this is not helpful for the relationship. But actually it's not. Now me and my husband, we have this rule that whenever we have a disagreement, conflict, when emotions are on the line, we always resolve the emotional burden first before going into the rationals of what's happening, how can we solve it. We can calm down separately, and that's not the end of the world. That's not giving up on the relationship. That's not being lazy or irresponsible. These days what I use is sometimes when I'm hurt and then I start hearing those like negative voices in my head, I'll just imagine, I'll picture very vividly me basically destroying those thoughts in my head. However you want to do it, you can shake it off, you can put it in a burner, burn it away, or you can like set a strong boundary, just like push it outside. Like really imagine distancing yourself and getting rid of those negative thoughts, and trust that it's your choice. And the last skill I want to talk about is the basics, emotional hygiene. And I do it as part of my morning routine, and it looks something like Monday, gratitude day; Tuesday, I love my body day; Wednesday, turning a negative thought into a positive thought day; Thursday, mindfulness, I am present; Friday, I don't know, I'll put it on the screen. I'm not doing this as sort of a discipline, I have to do it. It's really just giving me a chance to practice, and then what happens is even when it's not the morning routine time, it becomes part of my psychology. Basically, I've trained my brain muscle so many times that maybe in the middle of the day, I'll just think about, oh, I'm really appreciative of this thing, I'm really thankful of that thing. So that's how it works. Okay, this is the end of the video, and this is when I never know how to wrap up a video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'm sorry I didn't take you on a ferry. I'll make it up. Let me see if I can do anything interesting. Yes, I'll make it up. I'll make it up to you. That's it for today's video. Bye.